Considered Oregon first time around out of the portal coming from Wyoming. Why was it? What was it at this time about Oregon that made you decide to come here?
I would have said the aspect of football. I felt like it was a lot of things uh, that Oregon provided that I feel like would be a necessity, towards um, my growth as a player. I feel like I need it. So, it's one of the main targets for me, out of the portal. When I was just looking at, all the places that I wanted to go, I feel like in the aspect of football and whatnot, they had what I needed for me to grow as a player.
On the left here, second row, Eric.
I'll just follow up with that a little bit. Emmanuel, what kind of things specifically are you talking about? And I guess what are some goals you have for this 1 year?
I felt like, in terms of just scheme and whatnot, just everything, that, we here as an offense run. I feel like, just to, I've been playing for quite a while now. You know what I'm saying? I would say I'm somewhat versed, but, the game of football is just, I feel like, ever expanding. There's always something new to learn, whether it's scheme, formation, just something that you can always pick up. So I feel like in terms of just like a pro style offense, or Oregon provided all of that. And, I feel like that would give me a really good start. You know what I'm saying? Just in time, for, becoming a pro and whatnot. So I feel like that would prepare me and yeah.
Back middle, Brett.
Over the last several weeks, have you felt the intensity here starting to to pick up, obviously, with each week, each time you guys are learning? And how do you feel like that's kind of getting you guys ready for the spring game, obviously, this weekend?
Yeah. So I feel like with every practice, the guys pick up, on certain cues that we have, we pick up on certain nuances and whatnot. And you can see within every practice, we just picking up cues on each other, and reading each other. So it becomes that much more difficult. And I feel like that's what gets you better. When guys know what you're already doing, it makes you, have to strain just a little more harder, and overall makes you a better player. I feel like at playing football. So
we're gonna go front left, James.
Were you considering at all going into the league this past winter? Because in terms of PFF grades or no sacks allowed, you certainly have put yourself in a really good position potentially. So did you consider that? And what areas are you looking to improve on from your past couple of seasons when you hadn't allowed any sacks over nearly 900 snaps and really didn't commit any penalties either? What are areas specifically that you are working on to improve on statistically?
I'd just say like what I was speaking on earlier, with coming back is just with the scheme that Oregon runs here, just like with the pro style offense, I feel like, it's all encompassing, right? So I feel like that would be a good, like it would be like a pro for me, you know what I'm saying? Ending my career off in a college game, just, in the mental aspect of the game, gaining that and having that as leverage come time when I'm, becoming a pro to put my best foot forward and, make my best mark. That's one thing I said that I wanted to do. And one of the biggest factors of me coming back was I feel like, that's just gaining that mental aspect. I feel like being able to grasp more of football, mentally and I just being able to apply it more, you know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest factor in coming back.
Back right, Aaron.
The past 3 years since Coach Lanning took over the program, the offense has been pretty successful. I know at the beginning of the spring, Gary Bryant kind of talked about how you guys have some big shoes to fill. How would you describe where the offense is now and describe how your identity has kind of grown throughout spring practice?
Good question. I would say, I would say, obviously we're a new group, and new groups always have to, find, their connection and whatnot. And I like to call it feng shui. And I feel like we're nearing on that. Every day is a process, and I feel like more and more guys, Coach Landon likes to call it, are going away from that apathetic mindset or mind frame, and becoming like more of a team oriented mindset and team oriented aspect, and attacking the game like that. So I'll say we're nearing that more and more every day. And I mean, in terms of just like talent and everything like that, I mean, everything is there. So I mean, I believe once we get that and we make it a well-oiled machine, the sky's the limit.
Two more. Zach here on the right, and then Eric on the left.
You're in an interesting position because, new look offensive line, you're a veteran player, but also a transfer. So how do you kind of balance that, walking the line between wanting to bring everyone together, wanting to be a veteran player, but still learning the system and kind of learning the new scheme?
Right. So I would say, thankfully, from coaches to players, they've been helping me out, right? Just being a vet and whatnot. I like to think of football fundamentally, so things, can compartmentalize together when you think about it. So, putting football together is just, putting, two pieces of puzzle, that might have a different picture, so, but it's the same, essentially the same language. But I would say, just being a veteran, I still, try to, in terms of technique and whatnot, coach the young guys up, on little nuances and stuff like that, and let them know this is, the right position, or the right, the right body position that they need to be in, or this is the right, footwork or technique and whatnot. And just being able to apply that and put two and two together for myself, I'm able to give that to them, so they can grow their game as well.
You're on the left, second row. Eric.
I'm wondering if it helped come in with Isaiah and Alex, who are kind of in the same boat in terms of just getting comfortable with everything, and who are some of the returning maybe veterans that helped you kind of get to this point?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say some of the returning veterans that have been a huge help to me have been my boy Dave and my boy Poncho, and my boy Charles. Excuse me, sorry, I was blanking on the name. But yeah, they've all been a huge help to me, and it's just like flipping a book, right, and blowing the dust off the page, right. That's how they have been able to like make this environment and just picking up the offense that much better for me. So with World and Isaiah, I feel like it's been the same experience from what I've seen, and those guys trying to help them, put their best foot forward. So, yeah.